Hello, my name is Sebastian Goloski, and I will be taking you on a magical journey throughout the intertidal zone, and you will be learning about different members of said zone. So be prepared for a splashing time. The intertidal zone is an area between high and low tides and can be a very tough place to live in. The organisms that live in these zones are true soldiers and are very adaptable to many different kinds of situations. The intertidal zone can be divided into many different areas such as the spray zone and the high, mid, and lower intertidal zones. The spray zone is an area continually wet from the waves but very rarely submerged. The high intertidal zone is flooded once in a while but is out of the water between tides. The mid intertidal zone is usually submerged unless the tide is somewhat low. The lower intertidal zone is basically almost always submerged except for when the lowest tides come in, which is around spring. The plethora of living opportunities allows a large abundance of organisms to thrive in the intertidal zone. I will be discussing 5 animals that live in the intertidal zone. Asterias vulgaris, the northern sea star. Carcinus maenaeus, the European green crab. Strongylocentrus drobaciensis, the green sea urchin. The brother of the green sea urchin, Strongylocentrus purpuratus, which is the purple sea urchin. And last but not least, Nucella emarginata, the dog winkle. First, I'd like to talk about the northern sea star. It feeds on a variety of oysters and mussels, whatever it's kind of in its area, and a lot of the common locations include the coastlines of the Bering Sea, and it also lives on the coast of Korea. The next organism that I will be mentioning is the European green crab. This organism, the crab, it feeds on a variety of macroinvertebrates such as clams, snails, and mussels, and also on different kinds of small organisms like worms. Common locations of the green crab include the Atlantic coast of northern Africa and Europe, and these are the native locations. Sadly, these green crabs have also invaded areas such as Japan, Australia, and North America. And they live anywhere from around 4 to 7 years. Next, I will be talking about the green sea urchin. It feeds on seaweed and any kind of small organism that kind of floats within its grasp, such as small fishes swimming by. It actually lives in a plethora of locations, basically almost all northern waters, the coast of these areas, and it grows about 10 millimeters per year. The lowest you're going to see this green urchin is around England. Like any lower than that on globe, it'll be very rare to see this sort of organism. Next, I would like to talk about a very similar organism, the purple sea urchin. This organism feeds on algae and seaweed, just like its cousin, the green sea urchin. But its common areas are different. It's actually mostly along the eastern edge of the Americas, mostly from about Mexico on up to Canada. Pretty interesting. It can live about 70 years, and diameter-wise, it grows to about 4 inches. Last but not least, I'd like to talk about the dog winkle. The small sea snail feeds on mussels and barnacles, anything along the floor of the intertidal zone. Common locations include the Pacific Ocean region surrounding Mexico and many areas along the coast of the Bering Strait. And these sea snails are very small. The shells are only about 25 to 30 millimeters. I'd like to thank you guys for listening to my presentation on the intertidal zone. I really hope you guys learned some new things that you guys could take home to you guys. And I really hope that you guys now better understand the ecology of the ocean and how ocean coast life is like for different organisms.